Hey everybody, thanks for watching. This is Eric from Nobody Trades, and I'm starting this channel. I kind of did it once a while back, and then I had some things come up, or I just couldn't maintain it. But we're going to try her again. This here's my disclaimer. You know, everything here is for education. I'm just trying to show you guys my trades, what I'm thinking, where the market may be going. And the stuff that I'm doing. And that's all it's meant for. And I'm hoping you can learn something from that. And that's all it is. Anyway, thank you for watching. So here we have a daily chart of the SPY. And these lines here are from Profit. It's an indicator that I created. And you can see it here. Anyway. Over time, I've gotten lots of confidence in it. So this is strictly what I use. I'm pretty much a support and resistance trader. And looking at a daily chart, what a mess this year, right? We have with tariffs and everything going on and the volatility. So just looking at the SPY, you know, we were, say, in this downtrend. Yeah, pretty close to there, and then we kind of broke out of that. That could be what they call dead cat bounce. This is also kind of a bearish flag pattern. And you can see these levels that I've marked out on Profit. Well, it marks them out, but you know, it's taken data from the past and it's putting it in the future, so you know where your levels are at. And for me, that's very important, knowing where my real support and resistance is, where I'm looking to take trades, get out of trades, maybe add to trades, things like that. So I'm going to try to do like a weekend update, you know, and try to derive where the market's going. But this is a tough time. I think anybody right now trying to say where the market's going to go is just, you know, I wouldn't say lying, but I wouldn't bet on either side at this moment until maybe this trade stuff is settled, and then maybe we'll pick a better direction. But anyway, back to the chart. We broke this. We got a dead cat bounce slash, and then we break, right? And we fall. We had a gap there that we come back and filled. Fell down again. And then right now we have this big bullish daily candle. And what I want to show you is that literally, you know, I would still just go off the profit levels myself, but we're trading inside this bullish candle. And until we break above that or get down here and we break below and start heading this way, we're kind of in a, you know, a pattern, I guess, where it's trying to figure out which way to go. It's hard to make sense of any of this, but this is a big candle. Until it clears it either way, you know, this could be just a range that it wants to trade in for quite a while. And it may not be. It may blow out of there on news Monday morning. You know how that goes. But on a daily chart, this is what I'm seeing. So, you know, and then we could come over here again and draw another trend line. We have from here, kind of on down through here. And again, I'm not the best at drawing, but get kind of something like that. And, you know, nothing's perfect in the market, but you could actually say, well, okay, it's kind of making a bearish pattern here, you know, higher lows and lower highs is a bearish pattern, but we're also trading in this large breakup candle. So that's what makes it tough to really say, for me anyway, which way it's going to go. And the SPY pretty much correlates, right, with everything in the market. We could look at some other charts. Let me remove this stuff here off the chart. And if anybody does wind up watching this, I'd like to know what maybe you're interested in seeing. Like I say, this is a new channel. I'd like to do lots of education stuff. I mean, I love the stock market. It just fascinates me. And I've been doing this about 8 years, but I still learn something different, every week. Options, I know the basics. I don't know all the crazy straddles and butterflies, things like that. I pretty much day trade. Right now, I have no long-term positions just because of who knows where it's going to go. And that's how I feel about it. And I could be wrong. There's a lot better, probably. There's guys that have way more experience out there. I'm just telling everybody what I see. And from what I see, just be careful, with investments. Is it a good time to buy? Well, if we compare with the highs, about how much lower is it going to go if it does go down? That's the thing. So that's why for me right now, short of day trading, I'm just not doing much else. So here's the NQ, right? The E-mini futures. And, it's pretty much the same pattern as the SPY. We got this big breakup candle. And what I'd like you to notice is these profit lines. There again, we're on a daily chart, but I've modified my Fibonacci tool because the 50% levels are very important to the market in between the profit levels. And I'll just do it on that one. But, you can see how we get reactions at these levels. So if, say you got a trade up here and you're selling off, you want to be leery around these key levels because it can just, reverse on you. There's a good chance it's at least going to bounce around these levels. So that's the main thing I wanted to say. So looking at next week, what I see here is, let's get our Fibonacci on here. Now this is in the NQ. So we closed below our 50% level, the 18,445 or 455.25. So in looking at this, if we break this little spot kind of right through here, my guess is we're going to come down here and test this 17,860 level if we continue down. If we continue north, I'm looking at the 19,050 level for the next real resistance. But I will say if it gets up here, it's probably going to get up in here and test the top of this big breakup candle. So that's what I'm looking at in the NQ. Might want to write that down if you are, something for you to look at. Throw a line there on your chart and see what you get. Let's go back to the SPY. And we'll see what the numbers are on here. And there again, let's see. So it looks like this 523.53 area on the SPY is the, that's the area we're arguing over right now. I would say, it starts breaking below that. We could continue on down to, I would say the 509.10 level would probably get a bounce if it does break down, at some point. Looking at that, that's what I'm going to be watching for anyway. We'll see which way it goes. Yeah, because we already filled the gap. Well, now for the most part, we still have a little bit of a gap right here. It hasn't come back to fill it yet, so that's something to keep an eye on. The market will leave gaps, and sometimes it takes time to fill them. If you look right here, right, we had a gap up, and it took it 1, 2, 3 days, roughly 3-4 days before it actually filled it, and it continued on. So that's what I'm looking at there. And I can look at stuff for anybody. Let's look at NVDA. There again, I'm mainly trading futures right now, the NQ. We didn't get there. Man, it dropped all the way down to here. Let's throw our 50% level on here. So yeah, right now we're leaning on that 101.10, 101.15 level. Yeah, if we go back north, well, we do have a gap to fill too from right here on the 15th. So we could get back up into this 110-ish area, depending on what the overall market does. If we go up, that's probably the next, spot it's going to try to fill. Going down, I would say the next spot for a bounce that I'm going to be watching for is the 92.69 level. Is where I would be looking. Let's see what else. Is there anything else here you'd like to look at? Anyway, I know that this is all new, so it's probably going to take some time for people to get trust, but this indicator here I created is very accurate, and I've gotten tons of faith in it over the years, So if you are watching the video, maybe just take some of these numbers I'm throwing out there, mark a line on your chart, and you can see what happens, when it gets there. I will take this down to say a 1 minute chart. I have to go in here and change profit to scalp. And then let me go ahead and remove this stuff here. And I do the same, excuse me, I do the same thing just on when I'm day trading, but I use profit on the lower time frames. And you'll see, we'll just go to a 1 minute chart here, and we'll let it print up. So here was Thursday. On NVDA, we opened up. So we dropped down. Well, let's see. Yeah, this was at 6:30 in the morning. So we drop down, we bounce here, come back up, we drop all the way down. It looks like we just chop around this 100, the $100 level basically all day. But I will show you here, just for fun, how profit works. And, maybe you could utilize it in your trading. But for now, so let me blow this up a little bit. And you can see how, this is resistance that you can't normally see, right? And, you got a heads up. This is on your chart in the morning. And, your resistance, and you get a big tail candle like this. That's a pretty good signal for a reversal. And down it goes. You just want to be mindful as you come into these other levels, right? Depending on your position size, you may want to take some off. Is it going to continue on? But, a lot of most of these levels, right, it doesn't just blow through them. I mean, it can, right? You get your crazy stuff in the morning, right? It was getting rejected here at this 102 level, and it ran all the way up to the, 103.50-ish area. Kind of got a cold. And anyway, you can see how we just traded around the profit levels. And I could come in and add another level here, and we'd see that that's probably the 25% level. But at any rate, I hope some guys watch this, and I look forward to making a lot more videos, and I'll be happy to answer anybody's questions that I can. And I want to thank you for watching. This is kind of a weekend update. If there's something people want me to specifically throw on the chart here and look at, I'm happy to do that. and enjoy the rest of your holiday Easter weekend. And thank you for watching.